Next, we have Sarah Lyons from the New York City-DSA Ecosocialist Working Group.
All right, good morning, and thank you to the chair and senators for holding this important hearing. My name is Sarah Lyons, and I am an organizer with the New York City Democratic Socialists of America. I'm here to testify. Thank you. Oh yeah, got some roses in the audience. All right, I am here to testify in support of the Climate Community Protection Act, or as we know it, the CCPA. We urge you to swiftly and decisively pass this legislation for the following reasons. We know that market-based solutions are not solutions at all when it comes to tackling the climate crisis. We know that big business has spent decades denying climate change because it would hurt their bottom line. When pressed, their, quote, solutions have nothing to do with the survival of the planet, but only the survival of free market capitalism and those who can afford their solutions. While big business may want to make a buck off the death of the world, most Americans are concerned about their future. Every sector of New York's economy must begin to move off of fossil fuels immediately. New York's preeminent fossil fuel lobbyists will tell you that the CCPA will drive business out of the state. They will claim that they support climate change legislation, but just not this bill. They will tell you that it is impossible to comply with this bill. They talk about, quote, carbon leakage, alleging that polluting industries will simply move away. But our goal is not to beat them here, but everywhere. Ask them how hard it will be to conduct business on an uninhabitable planet. As democratic socialists, we are here for solutions that tackle a problem through the lens of justice. We support the CCPA because of its emphasis on uplifting communities that have, up until this point, suffered the worst effects of the climate crisis while contributing to it the least. Ecological destruction in the U.S. is inseparable from systematic racism and class conflict. Real solutions must seek not only to address the climate crisis, but the racial and economic inequalities that are bound up with it. We believe also that it is only fair that the industries and corporations responsible for the climate crisis, for climate change pay. And we are calling for a new economy that values workers and invests in our communities. Nothing can reverse the damage that corporations have already done to the planet or our health, but fixing their mess and funding real solutions and guaranteeing fair wages for the renewable economy of the future is the very least they could do. Not only does the CCPA guarantee fair wages, it establishes a climate equity screen to publicly funded renewable energy and energy efficiency projects that would invest at least 40% of the money in frontline communities being directly impacted by climate change. There is no perfect timeline going forward, as the appropriate time to address the climate crisis was decades ago. We do not have a time machine, however, and we have today and precious few tomorrows to pass legislation with the power to take on this issue. Legislation that not only takes on the industries that brought us here, but prioritizes the communities most harmed by the climate crisis. It does this under the framework of a just transition to a renewable and non-extractive economy. The CCPA is a bill that begins to fight the climate crisis on a scale that adequately addresses the enemy we face. It calls for a halt to greenhouse gas emissions, not just in one section of the economy, but across the whole economy. And it lays out a way to do workers and communities across New York justice. Passage of this legislation here has the opportunity to be a model in a nationwide push to finally and adequately address the climate crisis. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.